Hello, everyone. This is Justin Scott, CEO and co-founder of Dopple, and I'm joined today by Eric Murphy, co-founder and CMO of Anthros, as well as Brittany Shore, our customer experience expert. So, Eric, welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, no, thanks. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I am really excited to talk about Anthros and what you guys have done. It's an absolute pleasure to work with you guys. But I thought to get started, it'd be good to hear about the Anthros story and then maybe why you arrived at Anthros and what you guys are up to.
Yeah, Anthros, we are an ergonomic office chair, to put it very simply. But the story is myself and co-founder and inventor Steve worked with the disabled population for 15 plus years. And Steve actually had designed and developed a power wheelchair previous to him and I joining forces at a company that designed wheelchair seating products. So our background was rooted in the medical space and the amount of research and data and evidence-based marketing and product development that went into what we did at that time was really so far off the charts versus what we saw normal seating companies doing, and specifically office chairs. So we were both being entrepreneurs. We were talking about, I wonder if we can take everything that we've learned in helping support and protect people who sit literally all throughout their day because they have no choice. What if can we take that and leverage some of that experience and design an office chair that would be different than anything else out there? And so that's like I said, long story short, that's what we did, and that's where we are today with
the science of sitting. And when did you found the company?
We started the company about 3 years ago, but we just started actually fulfilling orders within this last 3 or 4 months.
Okay. And it's popular in social streams that sitting is the new smoking. So you guys on the very cutting edge. And as a guy that spends a lot of time in front of his desktop, I definitely understand the need. Anything you want to say about the science of sitting and how y'all thought about the ergonomics of the chair? What are the major harmful effects of seating that you saw from your previous life in the medical industry and what you're applying to your product today?
Yeah, I mean, I guess starting with sitting is the new smoking. That's I'm a marketing guy, so I can appreciate the intent behind creating some the wow factor, the shock factor behind that statement. But that's really all it is it's just a buzz phrase to try to create a response. And sitting poorly, sitting with poor posture, living a sedentary lifestyle, those are all, I would say, could be compared to smoking and the negative impact it has on your health. But that's one of the things we're trying to dispel, is that if you sit properly, you sit with good posture, it's not only affecting your health when you're sitting, but it also carries over to how you stand, how you move, how you walk, and also how well you can focus on the task at hand. But as far as the science goes, yeah, one of the big philosophies that we try to educate our audience on is supporting not the lumbar, but the pelvis. And when you're working with somebody in a wheelchair who doesn't necessarily have the ability to hold themselves up, the really talented therapists in our old industry, it was always about supporting them at the pelvis and grab the base of the spine. So our design takes that philosophy and puts it into practice. So when you sit in our chair, you feel something very different than a lumbar support. One of the other big things is the upper back. A lot of chairs have a wide upper back, and your elbows hit the frame of the chair, and it forces you into this internal shoulder rotation, which causes neck and shoulder pain. And we have more of a tapered back, which you'll see later, that allows your shoulders to stay back so you can work in a relaxed position with your whole spine stacked. And then when it comes to the cushion, I won't get into the nerdy details, but the science down to the cellular level that goes into the cushion to relieve pressure, pressure mapping technology to eliminate shear and all kinds of little micro shears that happen inside of the body.
Yep.
Carried that over from, people who can develop pressure injuries very easily and end up causing life-threatening issues. For us who we can get up and move when we're uncomfortable, it's not as big of a deal, but what does that translate to? It's just comfort and sitting for a long period of time without feeling like you have to get up and you have to move or your butt hurts, and all of that works together to just like I said, it just comes down to comfort.
Yeah, one of the more remarkable things is when I went to the website outside of our work together, it's incredibly educational. It's unlike any experience I've ever seen shopping for a chair. Very science-based, incredible visuals. Talk to me about the buyer's journey that you were trying to envision when you thought about founding Anthros. It's remarkably different. At a high level, what was the experience that you wanted to create, and how do you think about that digitally?
Yeah, it's really, we consider ourselves an education first company, and we're trying to not only ultimately we sell a chair, right? But before you're going to invest in a chair, you need to understand why. You need to understand the importance of posture and the role that it plays in your overall health, wellness, and longevity. So we really try to equip our customers before they purchase a chair with all the information necessary to decide if they do want to invest in something that, it's not cheap to purchase our chair. And so it's important to understand the why behind it. And then post-purchase, most products, most chairs, in this case, you're going to get the chair and you put it together, and hopefully it's comfortable for you. If it's not, you may be able to talk to a customer service rep and get some questions answered. But in our case, we have videos, installation guides. We have you can set up a consult with a posture specialist, and we have on-staff therapists who will help people make sure that the chair is set up to them, for them, in their workspace. And so from tip to tail, we're just trying to help people sit better, trying to improve their health and wellness and longevity. And so our customer journey needs to mirror that. And whether you buy a chair or not, we have a lot of valuable information on how to improve your posture and why it's important. Yeah.
And for audience out there, if you haven't gone to the site, please do. It's definitely an investment in your health. So even if you don't buy a chair, you'll learn a ton. And as a science major, I really appreciated it. Describe the business model a little bit. You guys are very modern, but it'd be good for our audience to hear about, what is your sales channels? How is that set up? How are you guys thinking about that in addition to the buyer's journey?
Yeah, we have a multi-channel model. As I say, first and foremost, we do sell direct to anybody and everybody on our website, and that was one of the reasons why we're so excited to work with Dopple. Is we just need to have a good experience both on the education side of things, which we worked hard on, but then when you select and choose the product itself, can you visualize what it's going to look like in your space, in your home, in your office, in your gaming setup, wherever that may be. So for us, the direct to consumer, just the everyday person, everyday mom, dad, whoever it is, we just wanted to be able to create an experience that they could relate to and easily decide what type of product they wanted. And other than that, we do have some retail partner, so people can go sit in it and try it out through them. And then we have a contract furniture model, more of designers who sell into bigger projects, bigger companies who are looking to outfit their office with new improved seating. And for them specifically, the ability to bring up the chair in AR and see it within the space and visualize what it may look like is a really important feature to a lot of those designers.
Yeah, that's excellent. We're gonna go through the experience in a little bit, but when you guys were formulating the strategy or visual representation of the product, being modern, did y'all have a budget for 3D? Did you have a budget for visualization? Was it for imagery? And did that come from an innovation bucket? How did y'all think about budgeting for the project? And then we'll talk about maybe selecting a partner.
Yeah, the technology, which is great. I mean, we're very focused on trying to stay on the front end of technology and AI, and how can we be as efficient as possible as an organization. So we had some money set aside for a 3D animation contact that we've used, but how we were doing our configurator before we ran into you was literally hundreds of thousands of images all put together to create a cool 360-degree experience. And anytime that we would want to add a new feature, a new product, we just doubled the amount of images that we needed. And our 3D animator was working for 2 weeks at a time to make a simple change to our product. And so the alternative to that was, right, you have a product with hundreds of thousands of possible combinations. Sure. You got to somehow get all these products into a space, hire a photographer, and then take however many images you want to just show the product 360 plus in different settings, plus all the different combinations. And you learn very quickly that it just becomes it's just not feasible or cost effective to do it in that manner. So fortunately, there's newer technologies that have come about that make that process a lot easier and a lot more cost effective than we may have been able to do even just a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that's a big problem that we hear from our clients is, one is just the overall amount of visual imagery to satisfy consumer demand is ever growing, right? Attention span is probably going down, but consumption of visuals are going up. The next is, I want to be able to show all my SKUs, but I also don't want to have my consumer clicking and sometimes not finding what they want. So the technology does a good job around that. Talk me through who was in your group involved in the decision-making process. You're obviously on the marketing side, but what does that team look like? There's a lot of cross-functional nature when you're digitally representing a product. Take me through who those people are in their role and what that discussion looked like from your point of view.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in this case, myself, our director of marketing, obviously was heavily involved. Our developer, just making sure that the tech and the back end was built in a way where we could make changes easily and comfortable with the team that you guys have. And then creative team as well. And even, all the way up to, our CEO and executive team. As a smaller company who, like I said, we just started selling 3 or 4 months ago, this is I don't want to say this is a massive expense, but it's a big decision for us because we don't want to get locked into something that we can't get out of or isn't working properly for us. So we put a lot of thought and energy into making this decision, and fortunately it's worked out very well so far.
Like your investment in the chair for your health with Anthros, this is an investment for your consumer brands, and we'll talk through results, but we're excited to see progress. Talk about your tech stack, right? So one of the big things we hear with the group you were just mentioning is, hey, you got to work with my stuff. So take us through your tech stack, how y'all thought about integrating Dopple into your system, and then after that, we'll stop talking and show the configurator.
Yeah, sounds good, man. Our tech stack, it's like every week we have some new toy to play with. So I personally am just anything to make myself, our company, more productive. Any new tool, I'm super excited about. So we take advantage of all the AI advancements and use all kinds of tools around that. I mean, we're on the Shopify platform. We use HubSpot, we use Intercom, we use all kinds of different apps within those platforms that do very specific niche things. But yeah, in general, it's it just fits in. What you guys do fits in very well with the rest of our tech stack.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And do you know the total number of SKUs that you have available? Or is that almost limitless?
Yeah, I can't remember. I know it was in the mid to high hundreds of thousands of possible configurations,
Incredible.
which
That's
is, which is great for a consumer being able to customize the product for their home, but also brings into a major set of challenges along with it.
It is. So let's, if you don't mind, let's look how we solved it. So I'll drive through the configuration. If you don't mind just talking through the choices you made, and we'll kind of go from there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, here we are at the Anthros configurator. You're immediately greeted with a beautiful ergonomic object. It's rotating in space. Eric, I'll hand it over and drive, and feel free to talk through to our audience the choices you make, the choices on the actual chair, and anything your audience might think would be valuable from your experience with Dopple.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is pretty straightforward. I mean, the first option is just the color. Do you like the black, which, I think traditionally 90-some% of chairs are black, but we really tried to offer people something that would work well in their home. And there's a lot more modern designs, both in buildings and homes, that people have really gravitated towards that quartz color. And then from there, most in the fabric section, we have two different fabrics. Going back to the science of sitting, we worked with Gabriel, which is a leading textile company, and we went to them and said, can you create the highest performing fabric that this industry has ever seen? And here's what we want it to do. And we're going to have it tested at the University of Pittsburgh seating lab and confirm that it does do the things that we want it to do. And then, oh, by the way, can you make it look like a boucle? Because that's a popular fabric right now. So that's how we came up with that shape knit boucle. And then with the port leather.
Let me ask you a question. What makes a fabric high performing?
In this case, it's how much can you immerse into the fabric. A lot of fabrics will create kind of a hammocking effect, which creates higher pressure regions. So for us and our cushion that has cutouts for your ITs, your sit bones, if the fabric won't allow you to sink into that foam and sink into those cutouts, then the design of the cushion is irrelevant. So it was important that it was a high stretch but highly durable fabric at the same time.
You also have leather options, I see.
Yeah, we have a port leather, another leading manufacturer of textiles. This is a pretty nice cover in that it's wipeable. It has more of the premium leatherish feel for people who are going for that look and feel.
Great selections.
Yeah. And then another thing that really differentiates Anthros is most chairs, how do you change the chair to fit your space? It's through fabrics. And that's really the main driver of fitting it into a different space. With Anthros, we want to do something a little different. So you can actually choose from a number of back options. So we got 5 different wood options. We've got carbon fiber. We've got a standard black. And then we even have a couple gamer, more techie options in our circuit backs. And again, within the configurator, you can see all those options, zoom in and get into the detail of the backs and choose what makes most sense for you and your space.
Yeah, it's a health purchase as well as an aesthetic purchase, right?
Yeah, we want it to be, it's a combination of, it's an investment in your health performance, but also you want it to look good in your space. And our experience with a lot of medical-based companies come to market with a product that does something functionally, But when people look at it, they're like, ooh, I don't know if I want that in my space. It looks very bulky and, mechanical. And we tried to make sure that we didn't fall into that category.
Yeah, you accomplished that. And then you have the back styles, or the base styles, actually. And what's the difference between the 4-spoke and the 5-spoke for our audience?
Yeah, 5-spoke is just like a traditional base that you would find in any chair. You can spin around. If you're at an L-shaped desk, you can spin around, and that's what you would be used to normally. The 4-spoke base is unique in that the base legs stay fixed. And so as you turn to the right, those legs move with you. So your feet are always within that space. So you're not dancing around the legs. And so people who have harder wood floors, and they really enjoy the 4-spoke base. And it's just it's something unique to Anthros that no other company offers.
And you have the casters.
Yeah, that's just a simple, what type of floor are you on? If you have, if you're on a wood floor that scratches easily, we offer an option that will prevent the floor from scratching. And then arms or no arms. And then we also offer a free bundle just to try to convey to people that you're getting more than just a chair. So you get personalized posture setup, mentioned some of these things earlier, access to members, owners group where people can ask questions to our therapists there, and then also a free foot support.
That's awesome. Treating the whole person. And I know the AR was an important feature. So right down here, you can see it in your space. And for our audience members, I'll pop the code up. And if you'd like to, pull out your phone. We all aren't too far from this little device, and you can pop that code and you can see the configured Anthros chair that Eric and I just configured in your space to make sure it matches your current aesthetic and your area. And go ahead.
Yeah, we've tried a lot of different AR. We've seen a lot of different AR platforms like this, and this one is very realistic. It's a funny story. Before I even had my sample of my first Anthros chair in my house, I popped this up and I dropped it in my office setting, and I sent a picture to my mom, and she said, I'm on my way over to sit in it. And it was so realistic that she thought that I had received my chair, and she was excited to come try it out because she hadn't even tried it out yet. So that just speaks to the quality of the AR. And we've had numerous customers say the same thing and really enjoy the ability to just drop it right in their space and see, do I want the ivory back or do I want the gray back? And so it's really helpful with that.
That's awesome. And you can go back to the experience, and you obviously can add it to cart, and you could purchase from there. And as you can see, my cart is full with my customized chair. So thank you for walking us through that experience. I'll pop back out. We can continue the discussion.
All right.
All right. So now that our audience has seen the beauty of the product configuration, talk to me about the process of working with the team. Brittany's on the call. I know she was hand in hand working with your group. What were you looking for in picking a group? What kind of process did you want to follow? And what was the overall experience with Dopple?
Yeah, we were shopping several different options, and I think as a startup, one of the things that comes to the table first is price. And there's some other options out there that were extremely expensive and maybe didn't have the response time and the commitment to follow up and providing the necessary information and answering the questions that we had. And Dopple, Brittany was amazing right from the start, and making sure that we were supported and following up with us if we weren't getting back with answering the questions that she had for us. So yeah, the team was definitely a big part of the reason why we ended up going with Dopple, because the the product is only as good as the support. And if whatever ideas and changes or issues that we've had, the team has been on top of supporting us and working through those. So that was
thank you for the kind words. We were really excited. It's an amazing chair, and really fun to work with you guys. So I would play the compliments back to your group too. It's been great to work with you. In your selection process, obviously price, the technology, the realism, all the bells and whistles. What does an approval process look like at the high level from your company, and what advice would you give other startups or other furniture companies about how to think picking a vendor?
Yeah, I think it's like I said, it's a multitude of things. I think it depends on the stage of your company too, right? For us as a startup, we didn't even have the physical product that would have been required with all of the options to create an experience for our customers. So for us, it was like, well, we don't have a choice. If we want to sell now before we're 100% ready to ship, we have to have an experience that can allow people to understand what they're going to get. So that for us was really important. But I think for other companies, it really comes down to, one, the features and benefits of the product, they're out of the box, and two, the support you're going to get to integrate it into your systems and what you need done. And then three, of course, price comes after that, because why would you pay 2 or 3 times as much for the same thing if somebody else can offer you the same or better? So as far as approval goes, we're a startup or a small company, so this was important enough to us to, like I said earlier, that we had a lot of people involved, and it was a unanimous, yes, this is a great tool for us and we want to move forward with it. And the response has been great and the support has been great. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
thank you.
I would say the only thing I would say too is, even now after having the physical product, we want to add some real images in, but the experience is so high quality that we don't ever see ourselves replacing what is there with actual product photography. And then I got to say one thing for our engineering team CEO, they love that you can zoom in on the bottom of the chair. A marketing guy, like the bottom of the chair and what's going on under there, like that's not my priority, but I can tell you there's lots of times with a customer, they have a question about something, pull up the configurator, zoom in, and you see this little tool right there. Oh yeah, it's right there. And you can take that tool out, and here's how you adjust things. So you can really go, it's more than just a 360. It's the full experience to zoom in on different components of the chair.
Yeah, it's interesting to understand that once you empower the user with control, you never really know what they'll do. So it's great to give them the tools and see how they use that. And it's interesting, the browsing behavior that comes up in configuration and view angles in our analytics package. And I know you guys have leveraged that. In addition, it looks like you guys are using a lot of our features, the 3D AR, the analytics suite that looks at browsing behaviors, and I hear hotspots implementation is coming up. So you're starting to really leverage a lot of the tools that Dopple provides. Not that you have a favorite, but what would be your favorite tool that you guys are using?
Yeah, I mean, just the core product itself is that's obviously the bread and butter of it. But I think the analytics tool is really interesting for us, because the browsing behavior, again, as a small company, we don't carry months worth of inventory of all of the different options. So to be able to see in real time what people are selecting and what are the most popular items is important for us. And the way that our part number is built in Shopify, it's difficult for us to get that breakdown very easily without some manual work. So Dopple allows us to just go in and see what are the most popular options, and very quickly and easily pass that along to our supplier and make sure that we're not running into any stock out issues, and we can understand trends and patterns much more easily.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And I think you said it before, but it's definitely, and when you're thinking about visual imagery, I think you all did a great execution of adding images with the configurator, and in some cases videos, for a multimedia experience around the whole purchasing process. And is it true that you guys are using virtual photography to empower your network with images of the configurator, or actually of the chair?
Yeah, we have. We had another online vendor who was looking for photos, and they weren't able to implement the full Dopple experience into their store because they carry a lot of different products, and they weren't going to build something custom for just Anthros. But we were able to work with you guys to actually, we want these 4 angles of these configurations, and use the photo studio to clip those out and send over a package to our online vendor, and they were to upload the photos and use those for their website. So yeah, that worked well. Again, the alternative would have been, we got to bring all these chairs into a studio, we got to get the pictures done, hire a photographer, go through a very intensive and expensive process that was just cut out by the photo option that you guys have.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to do that with you. So I'm sure our audience has been waiting for results. So what are the big results that you're seeing with Dopple? How has it impacted your business, how you're thinking about it, and what would be your message to people out there that are thinking about working with us?
Yeah, no, the feedback from our customers has been nothing but positive when it comes to the experience. Lots of people are like, wow, that's amazing. This is so cool. I love your configure. A lot of this is like, the original, I think, OG configurator was Nike ID, right? And so a lot of people, this is like Nike ID for the office chair. And so we get a lot of those type of compliments. And there's a lot of critics out there, and a lot of critics who are critical of a lot of different areas of our site, but the actual configuration process has been pretty much unanimously positive. So
That's great. Any high level engagement numbers you'll share with us, time spent on site that you know of?
Yeah, I would have to dig into those specific numbers, but yeah, as we keep making tweaks and improvements, those numbers keep getting better and better. But yeah, we have, I wish I had that number right in front of me, but we do it. It's a very high time on page of people just playing around with it and trying different configurations. And as you know, the longer that somebody's on a page, the more likely they are to ultimately end up purchasing. So versus having just a handful of pictures to scroll through. And we actually did test a different version where it wasn't as much of an immersive experience, and we did see that time on page go down. So it's definitely working.
Yeah, when you think about investment, you want that user, that buyer, to be able to spend as much time as you can. And when you think about a commercial on TV is incredibly expensive in only 30 seconds. Getting 5-6 minutes with somebody to psychologically buy and configure your product is ultimately a good thing, and something we appreciate partnering with you on.
Yeah, absolutely. The feeling is mutual, and it's from the first demo that we had with you guys to today. It's been a great experience.
Well, Eric, you've been a great guest. I appreciate your time and the kind words. Like I said, the feeling is mutual. I'm not only a fan, I'm a buyer. So you got any discount codes, feel free to email them. We won't put them in front of our audience right now, but we really appreciate your business and appreciate you talking to our audience.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me, and appreciate all the support along the way.
All right, take care. Thank you.